Hi, everyone.
Hi. Hi.
Welcome to day one of our new week of Readers Workshop lessons. And I was thinking as I was planning this lesson about what we could do to really practice all the different skills we've been learning. And so this week is going to be a lot of review of the skills we have been talking about with nonfiction text. But I really want us to focus on how do we ask good questions. You know, on the other day, I was watching Netflix with my friends, and we were doing this thing called Netflix Party. So how it works is you're watching Netflix together, and there's a chat on the side where you can talk to each other as you're watching the movie. And I noticed that when I was watching the Netflix movie with my friend, I would always chat all these questions about, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? Or I wonder if this is what I predict is going to happen. And I started realizing, wow, I ask a lot of questions, and I hope I'm not an annoying movie watcher. But at the same time, as we ask ourselves questions when we watch movies, we also should ask ourselves questions when we read books because it makes it more fun. I had so much more fun watching the movie when I was trying to guess what was going to happen or when I was asking all these questions. So I wondered, I wonder if that translates into reading as well. Will I enjoy reading a book more because I'm asking more questions? And so I want us to try that today as we read this book. And I love that it already starts with the question of how do baby animals learn? And so I'm going to show you a little bit of pictures from the actual book. And I'm going to have us practice how to come up with good questions to really get us excited about the reading that we're going to do. And so I drew a little picture, and I know Miss T is a struggling artist, but this is the picture with all the different questions you can start with. When we ask a question, these are the words we use. We might start with what, when, where, why, who, or how. And you can use any of these starters to start your question. So I'll leave this up in my screen, so as you think of some questions, you'll remember the words that I want you to use. So here's our first picture. So take a look, and I just want you to make some observations. I know there's a caption there, and there might be some captions and there might not be, but ask yourself, what questions do you have by just looking at this photo? And teachers, when you're ready with a question in your mind, you can give me a thumbs up. And it could be any question you have. Ms. Rosales, do you have a thought?
So my question is, how might having webbed feet help them swim better?
Ooh, how might having web feet help them swim? I love that. And I like how she used the how sentence here. Good. That was a good question. So I'm going to pause right there, and I am going to write it in the seesaw activity that we have here. And it's a way for you to write down your questions. All you have to do this week or today is just to write down the question you have. So how might webbed feet help them swim better? Is that what you said, Ms. Rosales?
Mhm.
And we always remember when we're asking a question, we end with a question mark. It's a specific punctuation mark, just a special punctuation mark for questions. Okay, how might webbed feet help them swim better? Awesome, and let's go back to the picture and let's look at our next one. We have 3 pictures, so you can come up with as many questions as you like. You can choose one for each picture, just to kind of get you to really practice looking at a picture and asking questions. So I'm going to ask the teachers to think of another question as you look at this picture. Any wonderings you might have from looking at this picture? And here are the sentence frames again. Ms. Hernandez?
I'm looking at the big fox in the center, and if I'm wondering if that's the mother fox or the father fox.
Ooh, okay, and I love that we didn't have that as a sentence frame, but is also another good way to start a question. So I'm gonna add that here is. So is that the mother fox or the father fox? Oopsies, sneak peek. Is that a mother fox or a father fox? Again, capital letter in the beginning of your question and then the question mark at the end. And here's our last picture. Any other wonderings we have here? Miss Akimowicz?
I'm wondering, how do elephants use their tusks to survive?
Ooh, how do elephants use their tusks to survive? I love that. How do Awesome. And I love how you're using that word survive, because we've been talking about that for the past couple of weeks. We know that animals, just like humans, are doing tons of different things to help themselves survive. So I'm curious. And we know that the tusks are the little, the white things that are coming out of their trunks.
They're
Awesome.
ivory, right? Maybe.
I think they're ivory. You're right. Okay, and we have room for one more question. Oh, oops, right here. So let's think of one more question that we can have from this picture. Any other questions that can come up out of this picture? Ms. Hernandez?
I wonder why the little elephants do not have tusks.
Why do the little elephants not have tusks? Awesome. And I love that we're asking questions that we actually we might be able to find out as we read, but we might not. And I want us to keep these questions, because if you can't find out the answer to these questions, that means you can look it up and be your own researcher as well. That's what I love about asking questions when I'm reading, because I'm excited to see, will I get them answered? And if I don't, what's a creative way for me to be a problem solver to find out the answers that I'm really curious about? And so we're going to keep this Seesaw assignment up so that we can go back and see, after we finish reading the text, was I able to answer some of these questions? And so that's a good way as readers to really get us excited about books, but also for us to really pay attention to all the different parts of a nonfiction book to help support our understanding. So thank you for joining us today, boys and girls. All I want you to do is come up with 3 questions on your own. And I'll post this picture up as well to help you figure out how you start your sentences or your questions. And I'm so excited to see what you're going to come up with. So thank you for joining us. Have a good Monday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.